You have to work daily in order. We really don't care. We're going to be there for the next 20 years because we live here, we love the club, we support the club. Always look for your partners. We look at them as partners, not just sponsors. And we built sauna, we built a gym, press center, and four locker rooms. Plus, it is going to be live. We probably have the best group in Croatia.
Okay.
Like football as a whole is an ambassador of Croatia.
So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Here with me today, Matej Mlakić, technical director of NK Rudeš, a team in the Premier League in Croatia. So Matej, can you a little bit introduce yourself, maybe tell some interesting facts about you, like just briefly?
Yeah, thank you for having me here. You pronounced my name correctly. So yeah, as introduced before, I'm Matej Mlakić, technical director of NK Rudeš. I'm a former professional player. I played for a team in Czech Republic. Then I came back to Croatia, played at Rudeš. That's also a fun fact. And I studied at University College of Northern Denmark in Aalborg and also at Faculty of Economics and Business in Zagreb. I worked at Dinamo Academy, then I got a job offer at the United States, and I came back to Croatia, started a company, and right now I'm technical director at NK Rudeš.
Thank you. So, technical director, it's not such a post that everybody knows about. So, can you please tell me more about your responsibilities, about your position in the club, what you're doing, and what you're responsible for?
So, when it comes to position of technical director in IT industry, technical director is someone who takes care of the product of the app or software, so you can make a connection to soccer, to football, where technical director is someone who takes care of the product of the club, of its operations, day to day, of sponsorships, of match day, of basically everything that's going on in the club operations wise.
So that's a really important position. So you're responsible for all the operations. So technically, NK Rudeš is like your product, your project, let's say this way. So this year we all know that NK Rudeš qualified for the Premier League, but unfortunately already we can say that it got eliminated. So can you maybe a little bit explain briefly what gone wrong, what to improve for next year, and how to build up your club for the future?
So as operations are important for the club, sport politics is equally important. So you have to bring proper players, proper coaches. So everything has to align in order for a team to be successful in the first division or any other division. That didn't happen to us. We made some mistakes. It's a big process, big learning process. On the other hand, operations must go on, show must go on. Even if you have 7 points, 5 points, 55 points, you have to work daily in order to fulfill your obligations towards a lot of these stakeholders.
All right. And as for the stakeholders and in general operations, team qualified for the Premier League, and obviously it affected the budget. How much it affected? Maybe did you invest something more in your development? And did you attract more like famous investors, bigger companies to invest in your team to maybe sponsor you?
Yeah. So majority of things that are connected with getting promoted to the first division is attracting a lot of people, a lot of companies, a lot of money. Of course, the budget increased because we brought new sponsors and so on, but alongside getting players, what we thought quality players, we also wanted to invest in the club. That's why we invested in new facilities, and we are continuing investing in the club because you need strong foundation in order to be stable first division club.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. And new facilities. You told that you've invested in new facilities. Could you please tell to someone who's going to watch it a little more about the facilities, what you're going to improve, what you're going to develop?
Yeah. So basically, for the past decade or 15 years, when the current stand was built, it only had seats. nothing below, just the seats. It was an object, a construction on the field, 1,600 sittings. This past 12 months have been really, really interesting because the club has invested in that stand. We closed the whole back end of the stands and we built sauna, we built a gym, press center, and four locker rooms, plus a kitman room that has two professional washing machines, two dryers, which is really, really a big of an improvement for a club that has been competing in second division. Next investments are going to be in expanding the number of seats that we have on the stadium. We have to have 3,000 seats in order to fulfill one of the criteria to play in the first division. And as well, we are investing in building lights in order to accommodate another infrastructure criteria that National Association has for us to play night games and games that need to be streamed on national television.
Okay, thank you. And getting back to the sponsors, previous topic, what do you think about the sponsorship since the team is getting eliminated to the second division once again? And what do you think about the sponsors? Are they going to determine the contract, or maybe they are going to believe in your project and support you for the longer terms? What do you think?
So NK Rudeš has surrounded itself with people who believe in the project. So what we are looking in sponsors is always someone who believes in what we are doing. Because when we align our goals, then it's easier for us to work together even when there are low times result-wise, like today. But always look for your partners. We look at them as partners, not just sponsors, because they have been with us in the second division, in the first division. But when you take a look at the long-term cooperation with them, they're going to stay and they are here to stay.
Okay, thank you. And getting back to infrastructure, of course you've mentioned that you're developing the stadium and everything for the senior team. What about the juniors? What infrastructure does NK Rudeš provide for the junior academy development of the players and everything like that?
We built everything. We built those new facilities for the first team, but the academy is using them when the first team is not practicing. Also, we have the old, they're not old, but just the former locker rooms and everything else that the first team has been using. Now the academy uses that as well. So all the good stuff that first team has been using uses the academy, and all the things that first team uses now, the academy also utilizes. For example, the gym, press center for lectures, for presentations, sauna for recovery, cold baths, and so on. So basically, the club uses it, but you know, the first team is always in focus.
Okay, great. Continuing the topic about the development of young talents. So Rudeš have participated in the Premier League, and a lot of people who finished the academy of NK Rudeš were participating in this competition for the club. So how important is this development? How important are those homegrown talents for the club? And where do you see, do you see any more players in the near future coming to the senior team?
Of course. The point of the academy is to produce players for the first team. First team players that are currently right now at Rudeš, 5-6 of them are from the academy. We always have kids who are club projects that we expect them to develop a little bit more, U17s, U18s, that we are going to promote to the first team. So having a strong academy means, in the long run, having a strong team, first team, and players that you can sell to bigger clubs. That's how smaller clubs survive, by selling players to bigger clubs.
Okay, thank you. And continue the topic with the players and development. So Croatian national team is now facing the generational crisis, let's say this way. Modric is getting old, Perisic as well. So, and now there's a change in generations. What do you think, when it's going to happen in Rudeš, and is it happening now maybe?
That's an excellent question, because even bigger clubs have faced the same problem. Barcelona with the golden generation, Real Madrid with Galacticos and when Ronaldo and all of these players left. But if you do it quietly, you can do great things. We have, I think, it's not the youngest, but when you exclude maybe one or two players that are, above 30, we probably have one of the youngest teams in the league. That's as of first of January this year. But we had the issue of having some older players that we brought, and because we were trying to stay in the league, you have to have these older players who played, who are experienced. But now we are getting back to the root of the club, getting the academy players to the first division experience and getting them in the long run playing at the top.
Okay, thank you. One question about the younger and older generations. So you said that you brought some older players to participate and get a win now strategy, but unfortunately it failed. And what do you think? Maybe you are planning to keep some of them just to mentor the young talents, because it's important in modern, and all the time it was important to have a mentor to be a role model for young people. Do you think it's important in Rudeš, or you're just planning to pay attention more to the young talents and without?
I think it's a mix of both. You have to pay attention and still keep those older, we call them ambassadors. Three, four older players that are gonna be there for the young kids, be an example for them, and nurture them to become better players. But it's a mix of both. We are going to keep those, of course, 3 to 4 targeted players, and then build other younger players around them for them to nurture them.
Okay, thank you. My next question is more related to around the football situation. So Rudeš has a fan group, and they were super excited when the team got promoted to the first division. What was their reaction? Maybe you did receive some feedbacks or from fans or whatever. What was their reaction when they understood that the team is eliminating or whatever?
So recently I talked with one of the leaders of the group. When it comes to NK Rudeš, you have to understand it's a community club. It's a neighborhood in Zagreb on the west part of the city, 20,000 people. They are all close together. They know each other. Everybody knows each other. They weren't happy when we started playing at Kranjčevićeva, because it's difficult to get yourself to Kranjčev, for example, feel welcomed at Kranjčevićeva, because it's an away stadium and you always feel like you play away. It's not your home, you don't feel welcome, you don't feel warm. But when we started playing at Rudeš, even though we lost, people came there, they started cheering the club again. We felt that community coming back to the stadium. Even though the bad result is there, I talked with the guy, he told me, we really don't care. We're going to be there for the next 20 years because we live here, we love the club, we support the club, but it's different kind of a game when you play at your home stadium rather than playing at Kranjčevićeva.
Thank you. So you have a pretty loyal fan base. The same may be attended to any of the clubs in Croatia. For example, we all know Torcida of Hajduk Split, Bad Blue Boys of Dinamo Zagreb, and Armada of Rijeka. So those are all super dangerous fan groups, and actually your next game is against Hajduk. So what do you think, who has the most crazy fans in Croatia, experience-wise?
That's a difficult. I'm a big Dinamo Zagreb fan. I've been born and raised in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and my father is a big Dinamo fan. I respect Hajduk. I have to say they have probably. Is this gonna be live?
Yeah, no, it's going to be on YouTube.
They probably have the best group in Croatia. Bad Blue Boys are great. I think in the past they have been better. With all the situation, the history of the club and so on. I think Torcida at the moment has the best fan base, the biggest probably in Croatia, with the members and counting tens of thousands.
Okay, yeah, that's great. And about the Torcida, continuing the topic, we all seen what happened after Dinamo lost to Dinamo Zagreb in Split. So what's your opinion on this situation, and maybe you can come up with some suggestions how to like improve the situation with aggressive act of fans after the matches, maybe to some sort of regulations or whatever to solve the problem.
Yeah, you have your answer. It's regulations. It's the law of the country that eventually is or is not going to regulate their doings on the stands. Their acts of violence doesn't have to be just Torcida, any other group. The country needs to stand behind law that's going to protect other fans at the stadium, just like the United Kingdom government did that, Germany, and so on. You're always going to have some incidents, but I think there has to be a law that's going to, be there to protect the little guy.
Okay, and maybe you have what's the main problem in Croatian football right now? What do you think? Where do you feel it? Like, what's the main maybe downside of Croatian? Because it's super passionate country, a lot of talented players, a lot of well-known players, but the championship is not considered that high on the European marks. Let's say this.
I think it's probably the money. I think money is always there on top of the list, maybe not the priority. Why do players leave? They leave because the league is not as attractive as 5 big leagues. Players want to earn money so they can live after the career. I think anybody who says they play the sport for love, it's partially true because you have to earn money to support your family. If you have an opportunity to work for a big company for a big club and earn some serious money, of course you're going to take it. Everybody says about love of the club. I appreciate that and everything, but when it comes to business, people are going to choose money. The other thing is also infrastructure. No stadiums, no places to develop young players. We can draw a line between Germany and Croatia. Every village has its own field, and it's easier for Joshua Kimmich to recognize someone on the field that's close to you. Then you have to travel 20 kilometers to a club. So I think infrastructure plus the money at the league are keeping the league at the place it is right now.
And as well, talking about money and the infrastructure, you are working in the United States of America. Nowadays, the trend is that a lot of investment, a lot of money are in the soccer, which is called in the United States football in Europe. So maybe what can Croatia take from their system of football, maybe development of young talents, what they can adapt?
I think that the main thing here is when you take a look at the bigger picture is that you see association behind majority of the projects right now in the States. I was in Columbus, Ohio. I lived there for a year and a half. They built a stadium in the city center worth $770 million. City, I think, paid for 70 or 80%, and the rest was private equity. So there's also, you have to have support from your government, your national association in order to achieve some things. So it's a synergy between a lot of these, stakeholders, but for a situation to improve here, you gotta have support.
Okay, yeah, great. And so the main problem is cooperation with the government, but on which level? Is it only about the association, or maybe some government like president or prime minister has also to be interested in the football and development of it? What do you think?
Take a look at Hungary. When football started to be a question, that's being discussed in the parliament, then things happen.
Okay.
If you talk about it at lower levels, nothing's going to happen. Like prime minister, the government needs to start talking about football as an example of ambassador of Croatia as a country.
Okay.
Like football as a whole is an ambassador of Croatia. Luka Modric is known everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Mateo Kovacic, Brozovic, I don't know, Livakovic right now in Turkey.
Yeah.
When you take a look at the last 3 big competitions, 2 second places, 1 third place.
That's really decent results for a country with a population of 3 million.
So the result is there, but it's not going to be there forever. You have to take a look at the bigger picture, infrastructure, how to bring money, maybe foreign investment, maybe the government.
But talking about government, we all know the situation about Crvena Zvezda and Partizan when there was a huge scandal a couple of months ago when Aleksandar Vučić, the president of Serbia, officially announced that he supports Crvena Zvezda. Don't you afraid that if something like that happens, for example, in Croatia, because if the president is going to be involved in football, he has to support someone. And don't you think this is going to like separate the society in a couple of parts and maybe affect some conflicts or something?
I think those are political games, and people always say don't mix politics with sports.
Yeah.
It's a little bit difficult to choose sides if the interest is to improve everyone. You can be so everybody is a supporter of someone.
Yeah.
Maybe our president supports, I don't know, Varaždin.
Yeah.
Maybe our prime minister supports Hajduk or Dubrovnik. I don't know.
Okay.
But I don't mix in politics because there are a lot of things that we can improve on lower levels, and then we can build on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And coming up to the last final part of our interview, so a couple of questions about general sports in Croatia. Who is, in your opinion, the best Croatian player ever?
Ever?
Yeah.
Oh God. You think in sports in general or?
In football.
In football?
Yeah, in football.
I'm a young guy, 28 years old. I think that Luka has brought us a lot of happiness. Zvonimir Boban, he's, a little bit older, but at his generation, I think he was the one. I think every generation has its own hero, has its own, role model. But I think Luka Modric, for us as Croatians, he's the one who brought, so much happiness and fame to Croatia because of his performances at Real Madrid, Croatian national team. And
obviously, Golden Ball. Yeah.
Golden Ball.
And
exactly.
Yeah. So, and last question: top 3 best stadiums in Croatia, in your opinion?
Poljud, because of the best atmosphere. Grupama Arena, because it's the new stadium. And I like Dugopolje. Maksimir is, it has its own benefits, but top 3, like I said. And also I forgot Rujevica. Rujevica before Dugopolje.
Okay. So, and the final part, if you had to give an advice, what to visit in Croatia in the football sphere, what would you advise to visit? Maybe what places, what like stadiums, maybe matches or whatever, anything about the football.
Definitely match Dinamo Hajduk. Whether it's that going to be in Split or Zagreb, it's always a great atmosphere. The football is always, on the verge of red cards, yellow cards. Definitely that. Also visit Osijek, doing great job with their infrastructure. Rijeka has its own. So basically all of these hotspots, all of these, pools where there's a lot of players, a lot of people, I think it's worth visiting.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for the interview. If you have some words to say, you may give your speech now, let's say this way.
No, I think I've said a lot of things that were on my mind. You had great questions. This was a great interview. And I will just want to say thank you for inviting me here and for me to be a part of your project.
Thank you very much. So, thank you for the interview. That was all what I was willing to show you today. Check out the full video on YouTube. So, thank you for watching this video once again. Hopefully you really enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions how we can improve our content, or you have any more questions to Mr. Mlakić, you may address them in the comments down below. Thank you for watching us once again. See you in the next episode.